Surah 69 verse 40 and verse 43, Surah 64 verse 8, it is Allah and Jesus the we who recited the Quran to Muhammad, but Allah recited the scripture to Muhammad through Gabriel. So if Jesus is king of Judaism and as he makes it Judaism Christianity, and if Jesus is head of the church that he gives it to the Romans 1 Peter 2 verse 9 to be ministered so as was called Roman Catholic Church. So if Jesus is the head of the RCC so as to mean the Muhammadism Islamic originated from RCC the existing Church of God and, or Jesus.
Muhammadism Islamic was being established through the Roman Catholic Church. In the beginning God established his religion or church to Abraham, then was continued to Judah being named Judaism, then Jesus inherited this, and Jesus re-established this to Peter Matthew 16 verse 18 as Jesus calling it his church, so as if Jesus is forever King of Jews, so what had established by Jesus is Judaism Christianity, then since Jesus was not being honored in Israel, which means leaders and peoples there not honoring him, so Jesus taken away his church. From Israel not from Israelites. Matthew 21 verse 43, and Jesus given it to the Romans the descendants of Esau the twin brother of Israel, as was written in Quran, Surah 29 verse 27, was cited here to Isaac descendants as basing from the word his, referring to Isaac, then Peter justified this in 1 Peter 2 verse 9 Peter here talking to the Romans, the church and the kingdom of priests, Exodus 19 verse 6. That ministering the church was been given to the Romans, calling it Roman International Church or RCC, as God and, or Jesus started to fulfilled it in time of Constantine, then God and, or the word Jesus fulfilled his promise to Abraham concerning his son Ishmael, so God and, or Jesus the Lord called Muhammad and recited the gospel the said Quran to Muhammad Surah 64 verse 8 God, Allah, through Gabriel and Jesus recited the scripture and, or Quran to Muhammad, Surah 69 verse 40 and verse 43, so if Jesus is the head of the church which was named also as RCC, so meaning the Muhammadism originates from the RCC, because the one who called and, or sent Muhammad is the head of the RCC, and what was given to Muhammad is nothing except of what was already with the people of the scripture or Judaism Christianity or RCC, the Bible and, or the doctrine and as Paul goes there to preach the scripture, think of this, God and, or Jesus never turn over the church to anyone who are not a blood and flesh of the patriarch, as the patriarch of the first covenant is Isaac, so as was turned over to Esau descendants, so meaning, the Shia is the legit Muhammadism Islamic, because it is from the flesh and blood of Muhammad, as the first kingdom is from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob, to Judah, David, to Moses, to Jesus, to Esau descendants, so the second kingdom must be from Abraham to Ishmael, Muhammad then to flesh and blood of Muhammad. Don't try to doubt that there is second kingdom in the kingdom or church of God, the fact, in the beginning of the church, God makes it of two kingdoms, the Israel kingdom and the Judah kingdom, but both is of Judaism religion, so as God makes it in his church also started from Abraham to be of two kingdoms, as the promise of God to Abraham is of two kingdoms. The kingdom of Isaac and the kingdom of Ishmael, as was also justified by Paul in Galatians 4 verse 24 to 25, as that is why Paul goes to Romans and to Arab, so that is why the two kingdoms of Christianity, because to this two nations are the promise of God was established, but Muhammad fails to follow Allah absolutely as he rejected the Surah 9 verse 29 and verse 33 which is about Matthew 28 verse 17 to 20, as was written in Hadith there is a Jew who advises Muhammad about Sunan an-Nasail 3773, this is either as about the Surah 9 verse 29, verse 33 which is the said Matthew 28 verse 17 to 20, or as about of putting the black stone in the Kaaba, as it is of associating other thing to Allah.